I would like to mention about what the reason why we have to do Zazen. Before I just mentioned about the Fukan-Zazengi, universal recommendation for Zazen. The reason why we have to do Zazen is what people try to be is, well, we really want to satisfy with us, or we completely feel safe. That's the reason what people just try to do is we just try to gain the money, or try to get the much better social status. But unfortunately, this way, nobody be able to be satisfied with themselves. What Fukan-Zazengi, as Fukan-Zazengi says, we are already completely complete and universal, so that we don't need to do anything, because without what people thinking of what they have to have, we are completely satisfied with ourselves, and we feel very safe, so that we are just what we are doing is we're just doing it completely or entirely opposite way. That's the reason why I just want to ask you to Zazen. Then again, I would like to mention about before I would like to mention about the Fukan-Zazengi, universal recommendation for Zazen. I would like to just mention about Zen Master Dogen, who is a founder of Soto-shu in Japan. When he was 3 years old, his parents passed away. Of course, he felt very sad. But although he was 3 years old, the thought or idea what life is, what death is, came up in his mind. After that, this thought always came up in his mind. Then, when he just became 13 years old, he decided to become a monk. What becoming monk is, sincerely practice to figure out what life is, what they say. At that time, when people became a monk, there are two monasteries available to practice. One is Enryakuji, here mountain, Enryaku temple. That is our main temple of Tendai sect. The other one is Koya-san Kongo-bushi, Koya temple, Koya mountain, Kongo temple. That belongs to the single sect. What the Dogen did is he decided to visit the Enryakuji. And then he just became a monk, and he started to studying the sutra. There is one famous sutra named Isaikyo. Isaikyo just means that one is everything, everything is one. When he just studied the Isaikyo, very incredible the phrase come close to him. He says, "We are already Buddha." This means we are completely satisfied with ourselves, or we feel very much safe. When Zen Master Dogen came across this phrase, he just took a look at him. All those sutras say we are already Buddha. So it's nothing concerned with the suffering from the delusion, the misunderstanding, eluded idea over discrimination. But although the sutras say, but he never satisfied with himself, and he felt very unsafe. What is this? This question come up in his mind. Then he just asks, try to find someone who will be able to just answer his question. And he just tried to just find the monk at the Hiei temple, but no one be able to answer his question. Then he decided went out the Hiei temple and tried to find a person who would just answer his question. I don't know much about how many years he just traveled around Japan, but quite many years he just spent. But unfortunately, he could not find the person who could answer his question. I think he totally disappointed, but his demand is quite huge, so that he never just gave up. Then Buddha Dharma just came from or transferred from China. So if he just went to China, he'll be able to find out the person or monk who will be able to answer his question. So 800 years ago, it's very risky travel to cross the Japan Sea, but he did. Then he visited he reached China, and he traveled around China for 2.5 years. But very much unfortunately, he could not find a person or monk who would be able to just answer his question. He totally disappointed, and then, in a sense, he just gave up and tried to go back to Japan. He waited for ship at harbor. Very fortunately, a monk just they walked by there, and he just told him there was the true teacher named Nyojo that he just he just teaches the truth at Tendo Temple. During his visiting the temples in China for 2.5 years, he went at the Tendo Temple, but at the time the Nyojo, Zen Master Nyojo was not there, so that he could not meet him. So although he was so exhausted, but his demand was quite much huge. So he decided to just visit the Tendo Temple again. Then he just met the Zen Master Nyojo, and he just asked him why he could not satisfy himself. Although the sutra says we are already Buddha. So what the Nyojo's the answer is, you just admit these things, so-called body, yourself. Before he just met Zen Master Nyojo, he thought this thing is himself. But Nyojo just pointed out that this is not a thing, so what people thinking about man or human being. So he decided to practice with Zen Master Nyojo. I have a sort of experience. Just at the beginning of springtime, the weather is becoming warm, so that when we just sit, the feel like something asleep. Then many times I just have such experience. When the Zen Master just sat on his place, the next the monk beside him just becoming sleeping. Become sleep. So that what the Nojo said is he just hit the monk who just sleeping on his shoulder by a kind of sleeper. Then naturally just the monk would be so surprised to be hit. But the more that's just what just happened is the master, the Dogen, who just sat beside him, he was so surprised. Because when I just clap my hands, something like this, then what people just think, is because Jinen just clap his hand, then sound just come out. But at that time, what happened with Zen Master Dogen is he just realized this sound is himself, not this thing. That's the reason he was so surprised. And then he rushed to the Zen Master Nyojo, and they told him, I completely cast off my body and mind. When we just realized this, wow, that's so surprised to notice that. But Zen Master Nyojo is totally just realize who we are and what the universe is. Then he never just admitted what the Zen Master Dogen said. And he said, it's not true. We are already cast we already cast off mind and body. This difference is they must, the Dogen still have a kind of misunderstanding who he is. Because he just practiced, then he cast off his mind and body. But what the Zen master usually is, whether or not our practice, our body and mind is cast off. This different. Then what the Zen master usually pointed out, the Zen master Dogen just completely realized who he was, who he is. Then after that, he just came back from China with Zen master Nyojo's certificate. And people just waiting for a personal monk who just studied in China. They just asked the Zen master Dogen what he just brought from China. Normally, or mostly, what people or monks just bring from China when he just come back from China, they just bring a kind of sutra or a kind of book. And they said, well, in sutra, our self is something like this. It is said. They just explain something like this. But what just Dogen just indicated him is the eyes is the horizontal and our nose is vertical. With this, I never be cheated by anything or anyone. There is nothing concern the Buddha Dharma. Then I just returned to Japan from China with holding nothing. This is his answer. The people never understand what he said. Then he went to Kyoto, and then there is the temple named Kosho Temple, and he stayed there, and then he started writing or describing the Fukan-Zazengi, universal recommendation for Zazen. Okay, now we go back to Fukan-Zazengi, universal recommendation for Zazen. It said, now when you seek for the way, you find it to be universal and complete. This is the conclusion. Before you just realize who he is, he has quite much the doubt who he is and what the truth is. But once he just realized the true self, he said, without any doubt, he said he just show who we are through this the expression. When you seek the way is our true self. So if you just try to find who we are. You just come across the things we are universal and complete. So that's the reason there is nothing or the trouble or question what people thinking about the suffering. Although we never just our existence is far beyond the suffering. Why we have to be suffered by the things? The reason why is we don't know much about who we are. We don't know much about our true self. Then, because we are the complete in the universe, so that why we have to just practice? We have to. That is how then can it be contingent upon the practice and enlightenment. Our existence right now is totally just far beyond the practice or the enlightenment. So that why we need to do practice or realize who we are. The Dharma vehicle is the free and unrestricted. Dharma vehicle is this thing. And this is what people thinking with this is ourself. And then what people just think, obviously, this is a kind of a tiny and miscellaneous or kind of thing. The people just want to change quite much and try to just this much better. But although people think of that, but this one is tremendous, huge. Quite much people never just think about how huge it is, because when this one just come out on the earth, at the same time, universe just come up. Then this one just disappear. Then the total universe also disappears. This one is a huge thing. Everything just happening in the world or in the universe. You see, that things just occurred. Where that things occurred is on this things. Without this, nothing happens. So that this things is that much huge. But people just think, because people just think of this is the hymns or themselves, ourselves, so that people just try to just think of this one quite much the tiny or small or so. But as the Fukan-Zazengi says, this one is totally huge and free from everything and unrestricted. Nothing just bothers. Nothing can just bother this will of action. what need is there for concentrate effort, so that it's not necessary to practice. What that's where Zen Master Dogen says. Dogen wanna say, although when he is in a struggle by who he is, he has to just practice in order to just realize who he was. But after he just realized the truth, he said, why we have to need the practice. His way of saying is changed. Then indeed, the whole body of the reality is beyond the world's dust. Who can believe in the means to brush it clean? This is a very famous story, what it said. When the sixth patriarch, the Zen master Daikan Eno, just practiced with the fifth patriarch, the Zen master Daimon Konin. Zen master Daimon Konin just became older, so he wanted to find his successor. There are 1,500 other monks practicing with the Zen master Daimon Konin. What monk just think of his successor is a monk named Joshu, who taught the Dharma, Buddha Dharma to Emperor Sokten. That's the reason the monk just definitely thought the Joshu Joshu is his successor. Then Joshu also admitted, so that he just wrote his practice experience. What he just realized who we are. Some monks just talking about what's going on there. Then those things are the Zen master Daikan Eno just heard it. Then he thought, if Zen master Daimon Konin just find his successor, I just wanna write my experience through his practice. Then he decided to write what he just realized through his experience. He said, our body is not more like a bodaichi, a kind of tree. Our mirror is not more like the mirror. So that why we have to just clean them up constantly. What he said is a completely different way. What the Joshu say. Then he just showed it to Zen master Daimon Konin. Then Zen master Daimon Konin just get it and crush it, threw it away. Then he said, just escape from here. I'll give you the black robe and the iron ball transferred by the Shakyamuni Buddha. And Zen Master Diamond Coin let him escape there. This is a story. This is a story. Because of what people just think about, this is the body, something like the tree, Abodaiji. And the mind is a kind of mirror. So that we have to clean and make it better. See, but this one is not the things what people thinking of. You see, so that if we can just realize who we are. You see, there is nothing that place the dust or dust just a touch. It means the dust and that is a kind of the things what the people think of as the suffering. See, so that our this existence is nothing concerned with suffering. These things that what the Zen Master Dogen say. Through this the phrase. Then we go next. The way is complete and present right where you are. And yet, if there is a slightest difference between you and the way, the difference will be greater than that between heaven and earth. It means when I just clap my hands, something like this, then if person just totally accept what I did, so he never just have any trouble. But if someone just have a doubt or the question what I did, so that that's also that a difference is quite much slight, but it difference is just the greater than the heaven and earth. Oh, this was different. Then someone just realized, oh, it's okay. Nothing trouble at all. But someone just think, what it is? The difference is quite much slight. But in a way that the difference is quite different, the way of thinking that the difference is quite much slight, but that difference is quite much greater than heaven and earth. It says so. Yeah. If the dislike or dislike arise, the mind is lost in confusion. If you have a slight doubt or question with this sound, so that you just totally lost in liberation. This is the same. And the next, even if you're proud of your understanding and think you're richly endowed with enlightenment and have a glimpse that wisdom that pervades all things, even if you think you have attained the way, clarified the mind, and gained the power to touch the heavens, you are still only wondering about the frontier of enlightenment. In fact, you have almost lost the way of total liberation. You know much about Zazen is. Zazen is not a learning model. Zazen is a Zazen. So that once you just become Zazen itself and finish. But what we just try to do is we just try to understand what truth is, who we are. By studying sutra or by reading some kind of book that describes what truth is or who we are. This way we never be able to just realize who we are. This is what it says. Quite many persons just understand what the truth is, who we are, without Zazen, without sitting. Although it's said, they totally just understand what the truth is, who we are. But once something happened, and they were just thinking it's totally just dropped, and they have quite much confusion. This is a way. That's the reason, if someone really want to realize who we are or what truth is, we have to do, at least we have to do a Zazen. This is the things what the Dogen, Zen Master Dogen want to say through these phrases. So you must take, so that these are the phrases are followed. You must take note of the fact that even Shakyamuni Buddha has to sit in Zazen for 6 years. The influence of those 6 years of upright sitting is still apparent. Also, Bodhidharma's transmission of the Buddha Dharma and the fame of the 9 years of the practicing Zazen facing a wall are celebrated to this day. The ancient sages were this diligent in their practice. So how can you people today dispense with the practice of Zazen? This is the thing. That's the reason we have to do Zazen. As I told you, we never be able to just realize the truth without Zazen. We never be able to just realize the things with studying sutra or the reading a book that describes what the truth is of who we are. Yes, and then next things to follow. What is the next things to follow is so that you should therefore cease from practice based on intellectual understanding and the pursuit of words and letters. Learn the backward step that turn the right inward to illuminate the self. body and mind will drop away by themselves, and the essential self will be manifest. If you wish to attain suchness, practice suchness immediately. This is things we have to do when we just do the Zazen. So that the Zazen is totally different from the intellectual understanding. As I told you, when you just do the Zazen, Zazen is Zazen. So once you just become Zazen itself, then you know much about naturally you know much about what Dogen, Zen Master Dogen just mentioned about with the Fukan-Zazengi universal recommendation for Zazen. Then when you do Zazen, the many idea or thought just come up in your mind. So whatever the idea just come up in your mind, just throw them away as they are, or release them as they are. This is the things what this the paragraph order to say. So that as long as you just follow the idea of a thought coming up in your mind, it is not a Zazen. That's just thinking. But as I told you, what idea or the thoughts that come up in your mind, just release them as they are. So releasing them as they are is also release. This is the thing. But at the first time, what you have to do is just try to just throw them away as they are. Then suchness is right now. Right now, if you completely be right now, you're not gonna have any trouble. Right now is that kind of the condition. We will always be right now, but what people just be in is people just always just be in their way of thinking, so that even right now doesn't have any trouble. That means that there is nothing concerned with what people think of suffering or the question or trouble. But if people just not be here, then if people just be in their way of thinking, so that it's caused then a trouble. And also I just want to explain about suchness. What suchness is simply this one. So once you just become this sound itself, so that you know much about, you can just easily understand what present condition is, and definitely you just be able to just realize who you are, the truth is. So we just want to go to the next. For Zazen, a quiet room is best. Yes. And that is that is all right, as it is said. Eat and drink moderately. So too much eat and too much drink just cause you trouble when you just sit. Give up all deluding relationship and set everything aside. Yes, you just think about what you have to do during when you just during setting. That is not a good way. That is not a zazen. So you just, as I just told you, whatever just idea or thoughts just come up in your mind, you just throw them away as there. This is a zazen. He says so. Give up order. Although explanation is different, but the things what the Zen master wanna say is exactly same as the things I just explained before. This is the things is Zazen practice based on and the result. Before I just the things is exactly same, but the explanation is different. Do not think of good or bad, right or wrong. Okay, when you just the thoughts come up in your mind, and you try to think about this is a good way or this is a bad way. We have to do this way or that. That's the good or bad things you just forget about. And not try to control the movement of your thought. You see, people, what we are just doing during the setting, we just try to figure out what we have to do or what it is. Then we have to try to change it, or we have to just put it aside, or just try to just erase it or something like. This is not a good way of the setting. Do not interfere with the working of the mind. Okay, try to just do not try to just think about more and more. Not try to control the movement of the. Give up the idea of becoming of Buddha. This is the things very funny or strange to say, because why people just want to do Zazen is mostly people just want to become the Buddha. What people think of the Buddha is a perfect person. Nothing concerned with less or nothing concerned with more. That's kind of person other people just want to be. But what the Fukan-Zazengi, what the Zen Master Dogen says is even the Buddha, you should not want to be not the things, because as I told you that we are already Buddha. So why we have to just try to be Buddha more? Because we are already Buddha. That's enough. But are they funny to say that the people try to just be Buddha? Because the people don't know much more about we are already Buddha. So that people just try to be. This is a misunderstanding. So that this idea or this thought, just forget about it. That's what the Zen Master Dogen wanna say. Doesn't have nothing whatever to do with whether you're sitting upright or lying down. So the idea or the thought, coming up in your mind is not only the time or the period when you just sit. Always the idea or the thoughts just come up in your mind. So whenever, whatever you do, wherever you are, when the idea or the thoughts comes up in your mind, just throw them away as they see. If your way of doing is become much more the Zazen, so that all the times you just be in Zazen. Not only when you sit, but also whatever you do, wherever you are. This is the true Zazen. Then here is a way of how to sit. So it's very easy to just think what the Dogen Zen Master Dogen just want to say. So you can just read and you can understand what are how you to do. But one thing I just want to mention is this is important things. Here is what it says. Your eyes should always remain open. This is things. See, someone just when they just said the eyes is closed. It's not about the things when you just close your eyes. So the more the idea or thought comes up in your mind, so that it's caused you trouble. So that when you just so that if you just open your eyes, that's much better. That's the reason the Master Dogen just said, just open your eyes when you just said. If you just close your other eyes, the more just the idea or the thought comes up and it's caused you trouble, or you're gonna be just confused. So that this is important things. That's I just wanna mention about. Other things you can just read. You can read and you can just understand. Okay. Then this is the things. It's called. It's have a big question. Think of not thinking. How is this done? By leaving thinking as it is. This is the essential method of Zazen. Think of not thinking. See, when you think of thinking of not thinking, you'll never be able to understand what it says. It's impossible. It's possible. So then it says, how this done? By leaving thinking as it is. By leaving things as it is. Although Dogen, Zen Master Dogen says so, but you never be able to understand what it is. So that you just sit, and then simply you just try to throw the idea of thought away as it is. Then step by step, you will be able to just understand what it says. Constantly, continually, you do that. Otherwise, you never be understand what it is saying. This is the essential method of Zazen. That's the reason. This is the essential method of Zazen. You have to continually and constantly do the Zazen. Then you'll be able to just understand what it says.